Sorry if it's a little noisy, but the little rugrats are awake and running around. So, I mentioned that today's topic... Hey, Eli. Shh. Oh, you see that? That happened to me last night. I was washing my face really fast and my fingernail cut my chin open. So, Elijah, shh, Mommy's on a live. Hey, Vios. Hey, Steph. How are you this morning? So today we're going to be talking about can gratefulness hold back the tears? So we'll get into what I mean by that. Hi, Vanessa. How are you today? And we'll talk about what I mean by that. Steph has a bad chest infection, so she won't be here long. Wants to say hi. Hi, Steph. Get your rest. I'm not sure what you need to do to get better, but you probably already researched it. Hi, Saritha. Hi, Vanessa. Yes, I have 2 kids. You'll probably hear them both. Hi, Viral VF. Hey, Angela. Good to see you. You guys know Angela. You should follow her. I don't know if she posts her videos here, but she posts her videos on Instagram, and she makes wonderful music. She even wrote a song for my upcoming course, You Are Worthy. I may talk to you about possibly even using your song as a, I don't know, an intro in my course. I don't know yet. I have to talk to my, hi Susan. I have to talk to my other executives. Let's see. Hey, Brooklyn. Hey, Jonathan, Naturecraft. Eli. Okay, we're not going to be pounding on things. We're not going to be Hey, sorry, I missed somebody's name. It started with a J. Hi. Hey, Dustin. I did reply to your Instagram message, so things might make it a little more sad. Ah, gotcha. I haven't checked in a day or two. Hey, Saritha. How are you? Yeah, we can't be pounding because Mama's going to be talking to her. What did I just say? We can't be pounding. It's Tantam. I gotta be talking to my friends, so you can't be making, okay, pounding on things. So, hey, Junior. Good to see you. Yes, I'm back. I decided, what do you guys think if I just do this every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time? Poor baby has something above his eye. Oh, yeah, that happened last week at church. He was running around with the big kids, and he fell. I don't know if he got knocked down. I'm in Victoria. Hey, the fidget spinner. I like how Dhar Mann videos sometimes have a plot twist. Aren't they more fun when they have a plot twist? Hey, Abina Braham. Forgive me for butchering your name. Saviors at Night Wolf. Winona. Hi, I don't know your real name. You're a Winona Ryder fan. Hey, Puppy Cow 2000. So, the topic for today is... Are you recording? Oh, Vanessa wants to know if I'm recording a new one with Dhar Mann. Yeah, I thought I was only going to do, hey, Joe Baha. Ella. Hello, Ella. Hello, Danielle. Hey, Jada. I thought I was only recording 1 in April, but hey, Winnie. Hey, Dog Raiders. Hey, Danielle. It sounds like I'm doing 2. Hey, Eric. Hey, Zara. It sounds like I'm doing 2. Oh, hey, Alexis. I don't know if I'll remember your names later, since if they're not your channel names, but I will do my best. You may have to remind me more than once. So I thought I was only going to be doing 1 in, hi, Shivendra. I remember your name. I don't know if I said it right. I thought I was only going to be doing 1 in, oh, thank you, Nina. I was, I curled my hair real fast this morning. And my son was like, oh, your hair is awful. So I put it up. Let me show you guys how crazy it turned out. You'll see why I put it up. Oh, it's a little too curly. It's a little much. So I have to wait for the curls to fall down. So now you see why I put it up today. So, hey, Sloth. I'm not sure what your real name is. Good morning. Ginny says my hair looks awesome though. Thank you. Yes, I am a Dhar Mann actress, and I'm just saying I'm shooting 2 in April. My hair was naturally that curly when I was a kid, Steph says. Angela says it looks pretty. So I think it looks better up. Otherwise, it's like this big. So the fabulous Tony, I am doing well. I came to see how you guys are doing and talk to you about a certain topic. Please just stay. Okay. Okay. Why is this my look every time I wake up from a nap? Hey, Karen is here. Karen's one of my diehards. Love you. Okay, someone says I look like a different person with my hair curly, but still beautiful. Well, thank you. I hope so. Okay, so the topic today is, can gratefulness hold back the tears? Well, happy birthday, Rosie, Emily. It's next week, huh? That's exciting. How old are you going to be? You don't have to say, but happy birthday anyway. Okay, can gratefulness hold back the tears? So you guys know I love to just do a little bit of teaching before we get into the Q&As. The Digital Rat said he changed their name. So just so you guys know how this works, I'm going to tell you in advance. If I don't get to your question, I'm sorry. There's going to be a time where I'm going to do a little teaching. I'll ask you guys some questions. And then when I'm done, we'll do all the Q&A we can. Hey, Jacob. Rosie is going to be 15. Hey, Jaden. Okay. So we will get to the Q&A when I'm done teaching this little bit. So this, you guys know, sometimes I read something from this book called Poems with Power to Strengthen the Soul. And man, there's so much good stuff in here. This book is over 100 years old. I'm sure some of the writing in here is way more than 100 years old. But they had a lot of time to think back then. I just feel like they had such deeper thoughts sometimes than we have because we're so scattered. We're looking at electronics all the time. Hi, Kylie. Hey, Winnie. Thank you for the compliment.
I have a disgusting bug on me.
Oh, did you come to share that with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, apparently my son is coming to share that he has a disgusting booger. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go change your shirt if you have a booger on it? Oh, kids. Okay. All right, so hopefully the disgusting booger will be gone. You guys understand my son's special needs, so not that he needs a disclaimer. He's cute enough. All right. So this poem is called Courage by Cecilia Faxter. Now, I've had some of you guys asking me, like, when it's okay to cry, when it's not okay to cry, and it really depends on the situation. There's no hard and fast rule to say it's always okay to cry or it's never okay to cry. You know, some people think boys don't cry or you're weak if you cry, and that is not true at all. So I found this very, very insightful because I used to let my emotions crush me. I used to let them take me out, take me down, make it I would be miserable for days if someone said a mean, rude comment to me, if I let my emotions get out of hand. Hey, Bob the Builder, welcome. And there is a time to cry. There is a time where it's okay. But the poem I'm going to be talking to you guys about today and kind of breaking it down for you is about when someone chooses not to cry, even when really bad stuff is happening. So this is called Courage, and this person is using courage to hold back the tears. All right. Because I hold it sinful to despond and will not let the bitterness of life blind me with its burning tears, but look beyond its tumult and its strife. So she wrote the poem. She's saying, because I hold it sinful to despond. So to despond is someone who gets depressed and loses their hope. They lose their hope, they get depressed, they lose their confidence and their courage. That is when you're despondent. So this woman is saying, I hold it sinful to despond, to lose my hope, to lose my courage, to lose my confidence. I mean, that's a strong stance to take, to say, no matter what is happening around me, no matter how awful it gets, for me, it is sinful to lose my courage, to lose my confidence, and get depressed. Not all of us are in a place where we have that kind of control over our emotions, but that seems like a wonderful place to get to. So she's saying, I hold it sinful to despond, and I will not let the bitterness of life, no matter how bad it is, I won't let it blind me with burning tears, but I will look beyond. So she's looking past all the yuck that is happening in this world. It's tumult and it's strife. So tumult is like, it's like distress. It's like mental disturbance. It's all different kinds of things. Oh, hey, you see Amber is saying, she said every Sunday at 8 a.m. she will sew. So you can see Amber's name has a little wrench by it. That means she's my moderator. So she was concerned. I'm taking a pause on this teaching. She was concerned, as a lot of you probably were, last week there was some inappropriate comments that came through. Oh, good luck in your class today. Inappropriate comments, people asking inappropriate questions. So she's like, you need a moderator. You need someone who's not going to let the bad stuff come through. And you guys know sometimes people are putting links to spam thing, or they're saying inappropriate things that we don't want children to read. So I think she's going to be cracking the whip in the comment section. I don't know if that means she looks at them before they get on here. I don't really know how that works, but she's going to make sure you guys don't have to see any rude comments. Michelle made it. Good morning. I know you're not a morning person, so glad you're here. So we're going to continue. So we just read this woman in her poem Courage said, it's sinful for me to be depressed, to lose my hope, and to lose my courage. I'm not going to let the bitterness that's happening in life cause burning tears to blind me. So she says, it's tumult and it's strife because I lift my head above the mist. So, you know, when there's a fog, there's a mist, and you can't really see what's going on because everything looks yucky. Well, there's a place you can get to where your head is above where the mist is, where you can see clearly. There's a place when there's clouds, there's a place in the sky where planes go and they go above the clouds. So they're not going through clouds where they can't see. So she says, because I lift my head above the mist, where the sun shines and the broad breezes blow. I lift my head above the mist, where the sun shines and the broad breezes blow, by every ray and every drop kissed, that God's love doth bestow. So I notice some of you are saying in the comments, sometimes I have to cry. Yes, and I mentioned there's sometimes where we have to cry, and sometimes where we can choose not to. So I'm trying to break down what the difference is. This is talking about when bad stuff is happening in life, the bitterness, you're seeing all this hate in the world, and how do you respond to it? Because you can't live in a place where you're crying every single day. You can't be in a place where you're such an emotional wreck that you don't live your calling, you don't live your life, you can't function because there's so much bad happening in the world. So let's get to the point of why she says she's able to do that. Okay, you think I find no bitterness at all, no burden to be borne, like Christians packed. What does that mean? So people see that she's happy, that she's always smiling, that she's choosing not to let the bitterness hold her down. And instead she's saying, you know, some people think that if you're a person of faith, that if you believe in God, you know, there's a saying that talks about your lot in life. And I think there's a scripture that alludes to you have to put down yourself, put down your life, your flesh, and pick up the cross like Jesus did. He's carrying his own cross to go be slaughtered on it. So, and some people take that to believe that we are always supposed to be burdened down, always supposed to be heavy, always supposed to be just like, oh God, I can't do it, and that we're never supposed to be happy, and that's not true. You remember John 10:10 says it's the thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but it's God who comes to give you life and life more abundantly. So abundant life is more of everything that God has. That includes peace. That includes joy. It includes all the good stuff. So you don't have to be troubled. That's why scripture says, take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. So I know you guys are putting in a bunch of questions, and when I'm done teaching this little point, we will get to all your questions. So you may have to retype them later, just letting you know. So God is saying, when we walk together, hi Elijah, when we walk together, it makes everything lighter, easier for you to carry. So this author is saying, you think I find no bitterness at all, no burden to be borne like Christian Pack? You think there are no ready tears to fall? Because I keep them back. This is my favorite line in the poem. I underlined it. So many times people think, even for instance, for me, they think I have nothing bad going on in life, that everything is wonderful, peachy, rosy, that I have no problems, because I choose to hold my tears back. I choose to look at the bright side. I choose to see the good in the situations and not always keep my focus on the bad. Bye, Saritha. We'll see you later. So, okay. We're going to take a little pause because Elijah wants some Cheez-Its. Okay. So I can look at your comments now that I have to get this little snack for him. Hey, hi, Rhoda. Hey, Arav. Did I say your name right? Arav Gamus? Okay. All right, here you go. Here's your crackers. There you go. Okay. So, thank you, Vios. He's saying he liked the voice I used when I played the Karen at the Christmas party. I don't know if you guys saw that video where I was like being a total stuck-up snob. Hey, Omar. I was like, oh, well, your gift is, did you buy this from the 99-cent store? Ugh, doesn't look like it costs more than $1. My gift is a Swarovski. So it was a little over the top, but I think it worked for the character. Okay, so just because someone chooses to hold back their tears doesn't mean they don't have junk happening in their life. And it's so easy for us to point to people who are at the top, who are so successful, and think, well, they don't have anything going on. They don't have anything going wrong in their life. Their life is perfect. Look, they have all this money. They have these fancy cars. They live in this gated community. They live in this mansion. You guys, Scripture says the rain falls on the just and the unjust alike. You know what? Bad stuff happens to the rich. Bad stuff happens to the poor. It's how we choose to react to it. Thank you, Winnie. I don't even know where I got these earrings. I think they totally look like they're from the 80s. Maybe they are. I probably found them at a thrift store. So it doesn't mean bad stuff isn't happening. It's meaning they're choosing to get over it. So when I'm done, we'll answer your questions. Okay. So this woman is saying, just because I hold my tears back doesn't mean I don't see all the bitterness happening in the world. She's saying, why should I hug life's ills with cold reserve, to curse myself and those who love me? Nay. That's how they used to say no back then. Nay. 1,000 times more good than I deserve, God gives me every day. So she's saying, why would I go through life hugging life's bad stuff, hugging life's ills with cold reserve? She's saying, 1,000 times more good than I deserve, God gives me every day. So she's saying, no matter what junk is happening in the world, no matter if I lose my house and become homeless, I'm not going to dwell on my problems. I'm going to dwell on the good things. She says, in each one of these rebellious tears, how many of you guys know your tears are rebellious? They want to come out when you don't want them to come out. When you are trying to be strong, sometimes you're trying to fight those tears back. They just come out. No, Winnie, I did not just have a facial. Well, Actually, I bought one of these little roller things. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by your questions. And it has little tiny pins on it, and you kind of roll it over your skin, and it gives your skin little pokes. And it's supposed to like poke your skin, like tiny little injuries, to let the to let your, I don't know, let your collagen grow back. I don't know, but I am trying a darker shade of foundation, so maybe I look like I have a little bit of a tan. So these rebellious tears that I keep back, I keep them bravely back. Oh, I love this. And each time one of these rebellious tears kept bravely back, he makes a rainbow shine. She's saying, I hold back my tears. I get myself in a good mood. I'm not going to cry over the junk the devil is doing in my life. And when I do that, God makes a rainbow shine. Gratefully, I take his slightest gift. No fears, no doubts are mine. So if that person has lost their house and they've become homeless, she takes the slightest gift. If I'm on the streets and I've lost everything, instead of crying about it, I'm going to be grateful on the days the sun is shining, because then my tent isn't wet and I'm not cold. So whatever it is, however you have to look for the rainbow after the rain, if you have to look for the silver lining in the clouds, no dark skies must clear. And when the clouds are past, one golden day redeems a weary year. How many of you guys have experienced that? You've had the worst year ever, the worst, you like can't even imagine having a worse year than you had. And then there's one day where it seems like it's a really good day. People are kind to you. You get to see someone you love. You get to hug them. Something good happens. A stranger pays your grocery bill, or something great happens. And just that one golden day almost seems to lift the burden of the last year. Thank you, Taylor. Love you too. Okay. Patient, I listen, sure that sweet at last will sound his voice of cheer. She's going, you know what? No matter what is going around, I'm going to focus on God's voice. I'm not going to look at the storms around me. Doesn't mean I don't have any ready tears to fall. Just means I chose to keep them back. So here's what she's saying. This is like the message to those who are saying, how come you're happy all the time? You guys, this happened to me when I used to work on an assembly line. I used to work in a factory on this assembly line, and we would all day long, we had these computer boards, these green boards, they would go into trucks, and we would sit on the assembly line all day long and putting these parts in, twisting them, clipping them, moving them down the line, putting the parts in, twisting them, clipping them, moving them down the line. And it was monotonous work. And everybody sat there and they would complain, and they would just be all the time. And I would come in happy. I would come in looking on the bright side. People are like, oh, I work in a factory. I always tried to find the good in the bad situation. So I would come in and I would be like, hey guys, good morning. How are you? And they were like, what are you so happy about? Did you get laid last night? Just rude, mean comments, because they were just focusing on the bad all the time. They were hugging life's ills with cold reserve, like Cecilia says. So she's saying, then vex me not with chiding. She's saying, don't hate on me. Just let me be. I must be glad and grateful to the end. She's saying, I'm going to be glad. I'm going to be grateful to the end. Don't hate on me, because I'm choosing to look on the bright side. And I love this. This is like the little jab she gives at the end. I grudge you not your cold and darkness. Me, the powers of light befriend. So she's saying, listen, I'm going to choose to be glad no matter what's happening around me. It doesn't mean I don't see it. It doesn't mean I'm not aware of it. Listen, you can be aware of something and be unaffected by it. It doesn't mean you don't feel it. It doesn't mean you like it. It doesn't mean you agree with all the bad stuff happening, the hate in the world. It just means you're not going to let it take you down. You're not going to let it affect you. You're not going to let it make you cry. And listen, leave me alone for being happy, and I'll leave you alone for being grudging, depressing, cold, dark, because I'm going to let the powers of light befriend me. So, what did you guys get out of that? What did that mean to you? I'm ready for your questions now. And tell me, did that shed any light on anything? Did that make you see things a little differently? Some people hate me because I'm autistic, but I don't care. Good for you, Carter. Some people are just ignorant. They have no idea. Susan, yes, it was a rough time since I got an intervention order on her. Okay, so I missed probably what you were talking about since I was reading. Joe Bahas asks, is depression a choice? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how to answer that because there is something called clinical depression, and I used to have it. You guys can see in my store, well, if you guys order my online course, you'll see in lesson 2 when I broached that topic a little bit. But what I can tell you for myself is that if I knew then what I know now, if I had the emotional intelligence that I had now, if I chose to look at life's bitterness if I kept looking at it with cold reserve, I probably might still be in that place of depression. But when I started looking on the bright side, when I started looking for the good things that happened in life, when I started focusing on the good in life and the good God had for me and looking for the rainbows, if depression is a mist, when I started trying to poke through and put my head above that mist, I could see things differently. Now, that's not saying thinking happy thoughts is going to get rid of depression. I'm not saying that. There's a time and a place that you need to be treated. There's a time and a place for medication. And there are also times when you can change your thoughts, change your mindset, and do things that can actually change the chemical composition of your brain. For instance, have you guys seen any of the studies on posture? You know, a lot of people who are depressed, I'm gonna put the camera like a little, they kind of slump over, their head is down, they do stuff like this. Now, they've done studies showing that your posture can even affect your cortisol level. That's your stress hormone. Okay, so that in turn, your posture can affect your stress hormone. It can affect chemical compositions of your brain and can make you more down by your posture. But they've also shown if you take on, you'll learn this in my How the Course Works lesson in my course coming up. So if you take on strong poses like Wonder Woman pose, you put your shoulders back, you put your head up, and you breathe, or you even do like this. What do people do when they win a race? They put their arms up in the air. He wants more snacks. Okay, you put your arms up like you just won a race. Victory. There's certain poses you can do that actually change the chemical composition of your brain and gives you more testosterone, which gives you more confidence. So if you feel nervous about something, you got a big meeting with your boss or something, you can't be in the waiting room like, all crunched over. Yeah, okay, you guys caught me. I still got my pajama bottoms on. Ooh. I didn't think we'd get this far. So if you're all hunched over, it's sending stuff to your brains. But if you're like Wonder Woman, or you're like, I'm a champion, I'm a victor, that changes the chemical composition. It changes, hey Ronnie, hey Mona, it helps you be more confident. And this has been scientifically proven. So you guys tell me, those of you guys who are still struggling with depression, thank you, Low123. If you, for let's say 21 days in a row, 60 days would be better, but if you for 21 days in a row only focused on the positive, no matter what your thoughts were saying, you spoke out loud the things that were going good in your life, you kept a gratitude journal. Each day when you started to feel down, you did, there's several other poses besides these two. You did the Wonder Woman pose for 20 seconds. You did, yes, I am a champion, I am victorious. You tell me, you will see a difference. You will see a difference. Hey, Game Boy. You will see a difference in how you carry yourself, how you think about yourself, because this has been scientifically proven to change the chemical structures, to do something with the chemicals in the brain. And you will start to feel better, even if your circumstances don't change. Your circumstances may be what they are, but when you start doing your power poses and you start speaking about the good things that are happening in life, no matter how many bad things are happening in life, you start focusing on the positive, it will start to pull you. It will start to pull you away from that depression. And I say that because I was diagnosed with dysthymia, which I think is what they call temporary suicidal manic depression. I had to, it took me 20 years to get to the place where I am now, to get out of that funk. Okay, so I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not telling anybody to go off their meds. I'm just telling you what the studies have found and what has worked for me. If I start to think about my problems long enough, you better believe I'm going to be in a heap of tears on the floor. If I start to list and name all the people that hurt me, if I start to dwell on all the people that hurt my feelings, how my life has gone wrong, how nobody loves me, how this, how that, yeah, I'm going to be depressed. But if I change my thoughts, it changes everything. You have to master your mindset. Okay, so back to your questions. I have about maybe 10 or 15 minutes I can answer your questions. Okay, I look into the mirror and, sorry, some of the questions are going so fast. I kept telling myself, nope, not going back there. Exactly. And that's what you need to do. Angela says, I tell myself, nope, not going back there. So the minute those bad thoughts start to come back, you stop it. You say, nope, today is a new day. That's the past. That's not who I am anymore. That's stuff that happened. That's not going to happen anymore. I'm putting my foot down. Okay. I look in the mirror and I think I'm fat, but you say I'm not. And that's exactly what it is. Sometimes, how can I be body positive? You've got to, it's the only body you have. And do you know there's, I don't know how scientific these studies are, but I have read this in other books, that the stress, back to the cortisol, back to the stress hormone, people who think they're fat or who are hating on themselves, that doesn't help you lose weight, first of all. And who are you comparing yourself to? What standards are you holding yourself to? If this is the same person who said you're 5'8" and you weigh 150, you were skinny. You were skinny. Did you know the average American woman is only 5'4" and weighs 172 pounds? Okay? You're skinnier than me. And you're not calling me fat. So you just think about this logically. Sometimes we're hating on ourselves for no reason. And we go, oh, I'm fat. But, oh, Katherine, you're not fat. Well, guess what? I'm 4 inches shorter than you. And I weigh more than you. So if you're fat, then I am morbidly obese. Do you see how your logic doesn't even line up? So you have to stop hating on yourself, okay? It is a struggle sometimes, but you have to get over it. If you don't love yourself, nobody else will. You know how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. What you think about yourself and say about yourself, you are giving others permission to do the same. Okay? So look at Steph's, she's not afraid to share her weight. She says, I'm 220 and I'm 5'4". And I think the previous comment said she's worked hard to have body confidence. It doesn't matter what your shape and size. Have you guys read my book, Poetic Prescriptions for Eternal Youth? I hope you have all downloaded your free copy. I have a poem in there called So What? We All Get Old. And it's what happens when our body starts breaking down. We start getting old. We start getting wrinkles. We start getting wider, because that's a lot of times what happens. And it talks about what's really important in life. Let me grab that, because I feel like I need to share that with you right now. All right. It's called So What? We All Get Old. And I'm just going to read, okay, page 29. You guys have this book. You can download this for free. Go to poeticprescriptions.com/free book. All right. So the first half of the poem I'm not going to read. It's me putting myself down for getting old, getting mushy, getting fat, getting this, getting that. But then, and feeling like, oh, I should be this and I should look better and all that. But then I stopped myself. Just like Angela said, nope, not going back there. Can't I embrace this state? There's not much I can do, but live the best I can and be a blessing too. So what? We all get old. I focus on what matters. What changes others' lives, not that I've gotten fatter. If I have lived my goal, exchanged my life for his, it's immaterial what size my casket is. Listen, if you are living your call in life, you're doing what God put you on this earth to do. It doesn't matter the number on the scale. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how much you weigh. God isn't going to look at the size of your casket. I teach about this in my course. I can't wait for you guys to get my course. This is one of the many things I teach about in my course. Thank you, Applehead Slate. Is disconnecting who you are with the body you live in. Do you guys know they are two separate things? Did you guys watch my video on Friday? Temporary housing? It's about how this earth suit we live in isn't us. And I go in detail teaching about this in my course. You are not your body. Wouldn't it be weird if I started hating myself? Okay, I live in this like pinkish, purplish, taupish, tan, weird color house. Wouldn't it be weird if I started hating myself because of my house? Oh, my house is an ugly color. Oh, my house has got some cracks in the foundation. Oh, my house is, it's like, it's fat. It's just a house you live in. Guys, your body is not you. You are a speaking spirit. You are a spirit that's going to fly out of this earth suit, fly out of this tent one day and be reunited with your creator. This shell you live in, no matter how big it is, how small it is, how tall it is, how short it is, how light it is, how dark it is not you. It's your temporary housing. You know what? The scripture in the Old Testament said, God said, I knew you before you were born, before you were in your mother's womb. I knew you. So you were you before you were even put in your body, before you were put in your mother's womb. So hating yourself for something that you have no control over is silly. Don't hug life's ills with cold reserve. Okay? Okay. Why do you keep changing the background on your live stream? I'm just in my office today. I think I'm usually in my studio when I do the live streams. Okay. Your life isn't a movie. You shouldn't hate it. That's a good one. Did you like playing the condescending head buyer in the Dhar Mann video for It Cosmetics? Yes, I did. That was a fun role. I enjoyed it. And I hadn't been on set in a while, and it was good to be back. I even said to the director, because they hadn't called me to work in a while, I was like, Ruben, what's up? I haven't seen you guys in forever. I thought you didn't love me anymore. I was joking around with him. He's like, no, here's what happened. We were waiting for our high school set to be built, and it was taking a while, and we had written all these scripts with high school stories. And he said, by the time it was built, we had like 15 stories stacked up of high school stories. So we basically just needed our teenage actors. I was like, that makes sense. I have been seeing a lot of stories take place in that high school. So that's why you guys hadn't seen me for a while, as they had all these scripts stacked up that they needed to shoot on their new set. But I'm happy to say I think I shot 1 in February, 1 in March, and I'm shooting 2 in April. Okay. Hey, Michaela. I will try to remember. Sloth, Michaela. I will try to remember. You may have to remind me. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any comments on that? Did that help you? I just had my swab test 3 days ago. Hopefully it's negative. I want to go home. Is that for COVID? I had been exposed to somebody with COVID this week, and I took my test and it came back negative. So I'm sure you're going to be fine. If you're not feeling any symptoms, you don't have the fever, the coughing, or whatever it is. Thank you, Michaela. I'm glad that was helpful. Okay. Katherine, you're such an inspiration in my life. You changed the way I love myself more. Yay! Guys, that's my purpose. And you guys all have a purpose. Part of my purpose is, after I got over my self-hate and found self-love by finding out what God had to say about me, I got over my courage issues, my confidence issues. My job now is to show you guys your worth. And that's why I've been, for the last year and a half, pouring my heart and soul into this You Are Worthy course. So you guys can discover your value, learn to love yourself, and become who you were meant to be, and not be held back anymore by the wrong thinking, because that's really what it is. I used to think, as an actor, oh, I'm not going to make it because of this and this and this and this. And then I've always been a bigger girl, and I've never been like totally stick thin. Like all the actresses in Hollywood, my height would weigh like 120 or less. And I've never been skinny like that. And sometimes it would cost me acting jobs. I would get fired for being too fat and this and that. But here's the interesting thing. Once I changed my mindset, once I changed how I felt about myself, I got to my heaviest weight at the time, which was like 45 pounds heavier than they want actresses to be around Hollywood. And I started booking more jobs than I ever had before. I didn't get skinny to do it like I thought I had to do. I changed my mindset. I started entering those rooms with confidence. I started giving it my all. I started showing up as my true authentic self, the spirit that I am, not like, oh, I'm trying to like cover my stomach. I'm walking in the room like embarrassed. Oh, are they gonna think I'm too fat? I'm second guessing myself. I don't know if I don't know if they're gonna like my acting. See, all that stuff is what holds you back. Not the actual physical package, it's your mindset. Do you remember when the children of Israel were walking around, and then they sent 40 spies to go into the land of milk and honey to see if that's a place they could go, because God said, go into the land of milk and honey. I set this aside for you, and it was an amazing place. It was so abundant, so full with great things that it took 2 men to carry 1 bunch of grapes back. The bunch of grapes was so big, they had to put it on a pole, and 2 men carrying this big bunch of grapes. It was amazing. There were giants living in the land. And what happened? 38, I think it was 40 spies. If it was a different number, forgive me. 38 of the spies were like, we can't go into this land. We can't conquer them. They're giants. They're giants living in the land. They're gonna see us. We're like two people, Joshua and Caleb. Caleb were like, "Shh, what? Don't listen to them. You know what? With God, we are well able to overcome." It was the mindset. So what happened? They went into the land, and the giants saw them as grasshoppers. The giants said, they're like grasshoppers. Why? Because they went into the land thinking they were grasshoppers. Okay? They didn't go into the land with confidence. How many of you know how you carry yourself, how you enter the room says everything before you even open your mouth to speak? I want you guys to be able to walk into any room, anywhere, and feel like you belong. Because you do. You're just as good as anybody else in that room. Problem is, you don't know it and you don't believe it, so you don't carry yourself that way. How many of you have seen people who maybe aren't even as physically attractive as someone else walk into a room like they own the place, like they are in charge, and they end up like being in charge, not because they have all the money, not because they have all the looks, but because they have the confidence. And how many of you have seen people, even models, who look gorgeous, who are down on themselves, who don't feel good about themselves, who hate themselves, and they get passed over, they get trampled on, they get used, they get abused. You guys, if you don't carry yourself like you matter, then you're not going to matter to a lot of people. And people who prey on people with low self-worth, you're going to get bad thing after bad thing after bad thing happen to you. And you may say, well, the reason I feel down and depressed is because I keep having all this bad stuff happening to me. Okay, but how much of that is a self-perpetuating cycle? Okay, let me go to a different topic now. I want to tell you something. Say Sophia, then say King, then say both of the words together. Do you realize what you said? Sophia, King. Okay, I think he's probably telling me another joke. This is probably the person that got me last week with the ball joke. All right. Vio said, beauty's on the inside, not the outside. True. True. All right, anybody else have any final thoughts, questions, anything you've been dying to ask me? That's what I struggle with, but I will try, Katherine. Don't try, do it. Do it. Listen, both. Okay, just bear with me here. You say you're gonna try to have confidence. You're gonna try to say good things about yourself. Here's the deal. You make everything up. Everything you say, you're making up. You say you're ugly, you say you're fat, you're making that up. You say you're beautiful, you say you've got a great body, you're making that up. It's your perception. It's all perception. And who are you comparing yourself to anyway? You're fat compared to who? You're skinny compared to who? We're not supposed to be bowing. Oh, someone says the mountain does not bow down to the wind. You're not supposed to be comparing yourself to anyone. Are you the best that you can be right now? If not, try to be better. But love yourself where you're at. Wherever you're at. Thank you, Meedha. Did I say that right? Someone said, I look in the mirror and I tell myself I am worthy. Well, amen to that, because you are. It doesn't matter what your outer package looks like. That's not what makes you worthy. These shells, these carcasses are going to die. They're going to dehydrate. They're going to get wrinkled up. They're going to get flabby. They're going to get bruised. Whatever's going to happen. But that's not who you are. You know, if you think who you are is your outer package, oh, you think you're depressed now? Wait till you get to your 40s or your 50s or your 60s. If you believe that's where your value lies, you're going to be really depressed when the things start falling apart. Okay, someone says, when you appeared in Malcolm in the Middle, did you get to talk to Frankie Muniz? Yeah. I mean, we did the scene together, so there's probably a little chit chat in between in between takes. All right, there's society standards that makes teens feel bad about themselves. I know, it happened to me. I had to overcome that BS. It took me a long time, and that's why I'm teaching you. Hopefully, my message is getting through to you that you don't have to believe it, okay? Winnie said, I learned more about God. I thought I didn't have any chance, but I'm growing and I'm knowing my worth. Thank you a lot. You're welcome. I wasn't confident preaching at church. I got scared to preach even more till I overcome. My pastor is happy about my progress. That's wonderful. You know, sometimes it just takes practice. It just takes more times of doing it to get comfortable. All right? Okay. Any last thoughts before I hop off and get ready for church? I'm teaching Sunday school today, so. Oh, thank you, Kushali. Thank you. A lot of people around me call me good looking, but I don't think I am. I'm right there with you. When I was young and people would think I was pretty, I would think they were lying to me or they were just making it up or they just wanted something. But why not? Why not just say thank you? And why not believe it? Because if you believe it, you might actually start feeling good about yourself. And maybe that's what you need to do for a while instead of feeling bad about yourself. Either way, you're making up the scenario. So why not believe the good one? Thank you, Steph. Love you too. Okay, guys. Love you guys. And we'll see you next Sunday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hope that was helpful. Bye.